Welcome to Deep Cuff Channel. Clashes between the Ukrainian army and the Russian army have become more fierce than ever. Ukrainians are doing everything in their power to drive Russian troops out of their country. Russia is carrying out incredible attacks in Crimea and Bakhmut regions. Meanwhile, the sounds of explosions rising from the Crimean Peninsula point to a possible Ukrainian attack. Russian President Vladimir Putin is extremely angry. After the events, Russia launched an attack of unprecedented magnitude. 14 Ukrainian regions are under the target. Strategic bombers also fly in the region. So, was the Ukrainian air defense able to prevent these attacks? Britain's new aid is on its way. As a result of the operations it carried out yesterday, the Ukrainian army neutralized 790 soldiers, 1 tank, 10 armored combat vehicles, 5 artillery systems, 5 multi-barrel rocket launcher systems, 1 helicopter, and 10 tactical unmanned aerial vehicles. After these losses, Russia chose the cheap way to respond to the Ukrainian army. According to Vitaly Kim, head of the Mykolaiv Oblast Military Administration, Russia has attempted a large number of attacks, especially in the southern region, using the Shahid series unmanned aerial vehicles procured from Iran. Although these drones are frequently used by Russia, their success rates are extremely low. As a matter of fact, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces announced that 13 unmanned aerial vehicles participating in the attack were shot down by air defense systems. One of the most important reasons why these systems were destroyed so successfully is the support provided by the U.S. military. U.S. military plays a critical role for the Ukrainian army, thanks to the air defense systems it procures and the training it provides for the use of these systems. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian army took action to intimidate Russia. Russian authorities announced that the Ukrainian army is preparing to conduct an operation on the Crimean Peninsula. Currently, it is known that Ukrainian soldiers are reconnaissance using unmanned aerial vehicles in the region. It seems that in a few months the Crimean Peninsula will come back under Ukrainian control. While these allegations continued, the head of the military administration of the Luhansk region, Serhiy Haidai, made important statements. Region at the center of Haidai's statements is Crimea. According to Haidai, fierce fighting is raging near the city of Crimea as the Russians join large numbers of forces and resources to hold the city, but the liberation of Crimea could be as early as 2023. As a matter of fact, the Ukrainian army is carrying out important attacks in order to cut Russian support to this region and disrupt the Russian army's strategy. According to Belgorod Oblast Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov, the Ukrainian army began to attack the Belgorod and Bryansk regions with drones. According to the claims of Russian officials, all of the Ukrainian UAVs in the region were shot down. Although the Ukrainian army has not made a statement confirming these attacks so far, there is a high probability that the Russians are making propaganda. Russia, which suffered great losses and demoralized after these attacks, decided to attack immediately and wanted to suppress the Ukrainian army. After this, it is stated that air defense alarms were activated in many cities across Ukraine. Immediately after the incident, Mikhailo Podolyak, an advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, said that Russia launched more than 120 missiles. Russia sent unmanned aerial vehicles to certain areas at night before expanding its offensive with air and sea-based cruise missiles launched from strategic aircraft and ships in the morning, the Ukrainian Air Force reported. This explains the drones used by Russia in the southern and eastern regions. By sending unmanned aerial vehicles to the region, the Russians are trying to perform the necessary reconnaissance and intelligence missions for the missile troops. Ukrainian officials in some areas said incoming Russian missiles were blocked. First, the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian army, Valery Zaluzhny, announced that they destroyed 54 of the 69 cruise missiles launched by Russia. In addition, Zaluzhny stated that Russia uses not only cruise missiles, but also air defense systems, such as the S-300, for offensive purposes. Minutes after the statements of Kyiv Mayor, Commander-in-Chief Zaluzhny, Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko announced that according to preliminary data, 15 missiles fired at the region were destroyed by the Ukrainian Air Defense Forces. Underlining that the air defense systems in the region are still active, Klitschko noted that the threat of attack continues. While Russia carries out these missile attacks, Ukraine ignores the success rate of its air defense systems. Systems supplied by Western countries have had 85% success in intercepting Russian missiles since the beginning of the war. This rate is really high. Knowing this, Russia sent strategic bombers to the region immediately after the attacks. Ukrainian information sources reported that Russia this morning lifted 13 Tu-95 and Tu-160 strategic bombers into the sky, which could be used to launch major attacks on Ukraine. In total, such bombers are capable of carrying up to 156 cruise missiles, but at the same time it is reported that only 3 caliber cruise missile carriers are in the waters of the Black Sea. There was no official statement from the Russian Ministry of Defense on this matter, but it may have been made in response to Ukraine's recent attacks on Russia's strategic aviation airport Engels 2. Ukrainian army currently does not have a system that can intercept strategic bombers. However, they have been able to stand strong against these systems until this day of the war. We know that the Russian Air Force has been very active lately. In this context, the sanctions imposed on Russia by Western countries seriously restrict the production capacity of the Russian Air Force. Moreover, not only the decrease in production, but also the economic burden of the airborne troops frightens the Russian authorities and Vladimir Putin. In the light of this information, it was announced that the Russian Air Force received a new batch of Su-57 Felon stealth fighter aircraft. Komsomolsk Aviation Plant confirmed the news, as did UAC. It is known that Russia has invested billions of dollars to expand production at a plant in Komsomolsk. That's why a representative from the Russian Ministry of Industry drew attention to today's delivery. Expansion of production facilities continues. New high-tech equipment has been put into use, the ministry official said. Sergei Kemezov, CEO of Rostec, announced that with today's delivery, Russia's planned purchases for this year have been completed. Kemezov added that the fighter jet, which is planned to be delivered at the beginning of 2023, has already started mass production. Russia has officially confirmed that the Su-57s took part in military operations in Donbass this year. However, no official evidence has yet emerged that the planes are at the front. This news of Russian deliveries could be purely propaganda, because Western countries are sending incredible aid to Ukraine. On the other hand, Russia may have wanted to make a move. In this regard, the supply of weapons and military equipment to Ukraine in the coming year may increase more than ever before. West plans to transfer to Ukraine about 1,000 more armored fighting vehicles, more than 160 tanks, at least 22 M142 HIMARS MLRS, 11 Plonk MAS 270 MLRS, and about 50 artillery pieces, based only on previous applications. Such information comes from infographics compiled on the basis of official reports of Western countries on arms procurement. In reality, deliveries can be much larger. Especially the HIMARS systems are a sign that very difficult days are approaching for Russia. In addition, according to the latest statement from the British Ministry of Defense, the UK has decided to supply Seeking helicopters to Ukraine. I hope this support continues. We will continue to monitor the world and especially Ukraine. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.